In this video, I'm going to go over the simplifying rationals exit ticket. So question number 1 says determine the excluded values. And it kind of gives you a hint that you're supposed to select all that apply, meaning there's going to be more than one. So this question can be difficult if you're not sure what an excluded value means. So an excluded value is any number that makes the denominator 0. Or equal to 0. So in order to do that, for this example, we need to factor the denominator. So I need to think about what multiplies to negative 21 and adds to 4. So that's going to be a positive 7 and a negative 3. So then to determine what the excluded values would be, I'm going to set each of these equal to 0, and I would get negative 7 and 3. And so those are the two values that would make my denominator equal 0. So they're the two values that I don't want, or they're the two values that I want to exclude. So my excluded values would be negative 7 and 3. So you should have selected A and C. When we're simplifying, we're going to kind of go along the same lines, that the first thing we always want to do is factor before we do any simplifying. So if I look at number 2, my numerator I cannot factor anymore. But my denominator I can. So I'm going to leave my numerator the same. My denominator, I'm going to factor it by thinking about what multiplies to 8 but adds to 6. So that's going to be 4 and 2. Once I simplify this, I can divide. So p plus 4 divides with p plus 4, and it's going to become 1. So p plus 2 is going to be in the denominator, and there's going to be a 1 in the numerator. So my answer should be C. For question number 2, really similar, we're going to factor it, but both of these are factorable by GCF. So if I look at my numerator, my GCF is going to be a 2a, and when I divide each of these by 2a, I'm going to get a plus 5. In my denominator, my GCF is actually a 3a, and then I'm going to have a plus 5. Once I factor it, I can start dividing. So a plus 5 divides with a plus 5, and a divides with a. So that'll leave us with the final answer of 2/3, which would have been option choice B. The last question, number 4, is a little bit more involved because the factoring is a little bit tougher. So I need to factor the numerator first. So I'm going to write it off to the side. So 3r squared minus 39r plus 90. Now when I factor a trinomial that has an a value, I always want to check for a GCF first, which in this case, I do have a GCF. The GCF is going to be 3. So I'm going to divide all these by 3. And that's going to leave me with r squared minus 13r plus 30. Now I want to think about what multiplies to 30 but adds to negative 13. Well, since this is a positive number and this is a negative number, it's going to be two negative numbers. And it's going to be negative 10 with negative 3. So that's going to be my numerator. My denominator is going to be similar. I need to think about things that multiply to 70 but add to negative 3. So if you're ever having trouble, so negative 70, 1 and 70, 2 and 35, 5 and 14, 6, 7, and 10. So I believe it's going to be 7 and 10, but since it's a negative 3, it's going to be a negative 10. So I'm going to have r minus 10, r plus 7. So now that I've taken this and I've written it in the factored form, now I can divide. So I can divide r minus 10 and r minus 10. And that's the only thing that's going to divide in this case. So I'm going to be left with 3 times r minus 3 over r plus 7, which is going to be answer choice A. Now, if we were doing this without multiple choice, if you were to distribute it and write your answer as 3r minus 9 over r plus 7, that would be okay too. But since we're doing multiple choice, we want to find the one that matches, which is going to be answer choice A.